Good evening, everyone. It's so wonderful to see everybody connecting via Zoom. My name is Angelica, and I am a volunteer here at Fang Temple. And since it is 7 p.m., we will be starting with today's wonderful event that we have prepared. To start, I would like to introduce our wonderful speaker. I have a short bio of her that I would like to read to you. Beginning in 2005, as a U.S. Peace Corps volunteer in Guyana, South America, Ms. Nancy Ko has relied on the teachings of Sakyamuni Buddha to guide underperforming grades 1 through 6 students to bring their best by recognizing their personal demons and winning them over. Since then, she continues to teach the very young to the very old, from primary to graduate students, public and private education teachers, parents, civic leaders, and anyone interested. She's passionate about sharing the doctrines in the Four Noble Truths as tools to be freed from suffering. She works with people of various faiths as she is earnest in her wishes for everyone to find freedom from suffering by uniting with their intrinsic nature of supreme enlightenment. Just so you all know, any questions you might have will be answered at the end. However, if you want to type them in the Zoom chat box, that is fine. And we'll get to them in that order as they appear in the chat box at around 7:50 when we do our Q&A. And I will be your moderator for this evening. I please ask that if you are not muted, please mute yourself at this time. And the lecture is being recorded already. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. And please join me in joining our hands to welcome Ms. Nancy Ko, and she will lead us in a short meditation. Thank you.
First of all, again, thank you everyone for this privilege to share a very personal experience. Our topic is smiling at cancer. And I would like to share a poem that captures the initial agony that I went through when I was given the diagnosis that it's definitely cancer. But in this poem, you will also see that with the mind united with the body, clarity will come in, and there's some sort of an awakening. So cancer, I will end up seeing from a different angle. I will read it. Smiling at cancer. On the surface, it's a curse, a cruel.
Excuse me, Nancy.
Yes.
You haven't shared your PowerPoint slides.
I'm so sorry. I already. Okay, hold on for just
Thank
a second.
you.
Okay, so let me go back to this Zoom. Oh, your meeting? So what happened? I got disconnected from Zoom, it seems like it. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I apologize for that one. Let me share again, yeah. I went through the same procedure, so hold on for just a second. So now here goes. I will share and then video, okay. Start video, and then I will go to my PowerPoint, and then I will present. Okay, now can you guys see it?
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. So as I was saying, it is the practice of mindfulness in breathing that I integrate in all of my activities. And it's just my stomach pushing out, my stomach pushing in, that allows me to gain the necessary energy that my body needs whenever I am in trouble. I'm a visual tactile type of a learner, which means if I'm just observing my breath without some kind of feeling it doesn't work for me. So I use my stomach. So it's very important for you to understand your ways of learning before you, whenever you adapt any kind of practices, so that it really connects with your being. So with my mindfulness and breathing, stomach breathing, that is integrated in all of my practices, Cancer, the diagnosis was initially indescribably traumatizing, yeah. But with my mind giving my body the necessary energy it needed, I began to have the clarity where I saw cancer in a different angle. So now I'm going to share Smiling at Cancer, which I ended up writing. Smiling at Cancer. On the surface, it's a curse, a cruel joke or punishment, a reckoning of karma for those who subscribe to this notion. Beyond the facade, when confusions are cleared, new perspectives emerge and cancer gains meaning. Indeed, having it is agonizing, yet it's equally uplifting, unlocking the best that's trapped within. Forced by cancer to see, clarity ushers in profoundness, gratitude for the opportunity to realize inherent nature. New eyes seeing beauty, confusion, fear, anger, darkness subside. Infinite small blessings recognized, amassed as great windfalls. Tongue savors all flavors of being alive. Nausea, no appetite, weariness, not barriers. Delight at everything delicious, dwelling in profound gratitude. Opportunity to connect with physicality, body that's indescribably amazing. Seen from right perspective, power shining through cancer. United in the present, mind and body in harmony. Serenity overcomes great challenges, bringing forth confidence and faith. Cancer evolves the mind to be in the present, alive, beyond attachments to sensations, master of infinite conditions. Clarity in mind asserts control. The upper hand is gained. Cancer remains, but no longer dictates, as living well with cancer manifests. For that to happen, that transformation in my thinking, it is the practice of the Four Noble Truths that got me there. So our discussion will focus on the practice of the Four Noble Truths, because the Four Noble Truths teaches us to go beyond what we perceived as feelings or sensations when they enter through our eyes, our ears, nose, tongue, or body or mind. When they enter and we allow them in, our own mind is our greatest obstacle. It becomes a barrier because by dwelling in those sensations, we block the power coming from our all-knowing wisdom. All-knowing wisdom is in each of us, but it cannot arise because we're too attached to those sensations. So with the Four Noble Truths and the earnest practice of the doctrines, which encourages us to go beyond the sensations, we end up with the resolve to bring out our best. And the best that is in each of us is all-knowing wisdom. The mind creates, the mind fulfills. If the mind creates thoughts that are unwholesome, the mind fulfills with actions from the body that are unwholesome, because the mind's thoughts are unwholesome. The other way, if the mind creates thoughts, because we create these thoughts, and these thoughts are constructive, wholesome, the body, the mind through the body will fulfill actions that are beneficial, good for everyone. To be able to practice the Four Noble Truths, we have to be in the present. But most of the time, our body is here, but our mind is somewhere else. The mind is stuck in the past or in the future. So we train with being in the present by observing our breath. Our breath is the key. It is the key to giving us the energy that we need to overcome all kinds of difficulties. By focusing on our breath, the mind is there to give the body the necessary support that it needs. It gives the body clarity on how to manage difficulties so that we can transcend over the challenges. With clarity from the mind, as all-knowing wisdom arises, we end up dwelling in gratitude, which is a form of enlightenment. We will also have inexpressible joy, another form of enlightenment that manifests. And in my case, I end up smiling. The Four Noble Truths is a tool to free us from suffering. The first truth, there is a mass of suffering because we're not able to see the nature of things as they are in the absolute. In the absolute, the nature of things is fluid. The nature is impermanent. It's constantly changing. It has no fixed identity or fixed existence. But the second truth, because of our ignorance about this nature of things as they are in absolute reality, we attach to whatever we perceive via our senses. And because we're attaching to them as if they were real, we end up suffering. We don't know how to let go of them. We cling to them and make them dwell in our mind, invade the quality of our mind. And when we do that, we are mired in suffering. The third truth, there is a way out of suffering, and that is if we can only see clarity, if we can only have clarity to see as it is, that the nature of things is fluid, impermanent, constantly changing. Nothing is fixed. If we're able to see it that way, then it is possible to go beyond whatever difficult sensations that we're feeling. We can rise above them because we won't cling to them. We'll be able to see them from a different perspective. That pain or that anger or that fear that we felt is only at that moment in time under specific conditions. If we do not hold on to those sensations as if they were permanent, they're going to go away. They're going to go away quietly, and we'll be able to reach a different level where we will feel peace, serenity. But it's difficult to see the nature of things as they really are in ultimate reality. So the fourth truth will give us tools that we can use to train to see as it is. Before we get there, as you can see from this background that I use in the picture, cancer is really indescribably agonizing. Chemotherapy, in my case, that was done every 3 weeks, is more than 4 hours. As you can see, there are several tubes, several bags attached. Each bag will take turns dripping on a tube that was inserted on my chest. The patients who are there in that room with me, some of them will be sleeping or pretending to be sleeping, silently enduring whatever discomfort aches they may have been feeling. But with this more than 4 hours in this cold room, because the chemotherapy room is kept cold, I made use of the time to nourish my body, nourish my mind. Before the bag of Indovan, the first chemo drug that that will be given to me, yeah. So it'll be the third bag, because the other bag will be like saline solution, and then there's steroid. Okay, but now I'm on the third bag. Indovan is gonna come. Before that bag drips, the first drip comes, I would have already fed my body a small can of Ensure, and I would have been eating nuts, because I understand the importance of nutrition. The body needs nutrition so that I can fight the assault that is coming. I don't want to eat. I'd rather just be lying there, but I can't do that. I must feed my body. So whether I wanted to eat or not, I will eat. Nutrition for the body, very important. The next nutrition is nutrition for my mind. While I am eating, all this turmoil happening inside of me, my hand, I will put in my stomach, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, to calm me down. I need to bring my mind to where the body is, in that room, so that it can help my body with the necessary energy to make it through chemo. Because I constantly nourished my body and mind with food and mindfulness and breathing, although the side effects of chemo, as you could see from these pictures, really horrible beyond imagination. It looked like I lived without cancer. In this picture, you could see bags. The 17 months I was in Taiwan, I moved 4 times. I packed, unpacked, all by myself. No matter what kind of blisters I have, no matter what kind of pain I have to move. When I first entered the hospital, because when I started treatment, I no longer have a job, which meant I had to move out of the staff housing. When I entered that hospital, I didn't even know where I was going to live. When I checked out of the hospital, my family was frantic trying to help me. But I was okay, I was calm. I figured that worst comes to worst, I could go into a hotel. But fortunately, housing came the night before I checked out. So I stayed in that housing for a few months, and then I had to move again because the housing became not available right before surgery. I moved to another place for 2 months. That place was only available for 2 months. I moved to another place. Now this time, a hostel for 2 months. Then eventually I moved again to another place for 5 months until I came home. All this moving I was able to do because my mind, I trained to always be where my body needs it. It needed to give me energy. In this picture, it seems like I'm sitting comfortably. You can see me smiling, like comfortably sitting on a chair. But if you could have only seen my back, I was wearing a sarong because the piece of cloth would hurt my back. I'm halfway in this chair. I'm just grateful that because COVID forced me to deal with cancer alone, because I didn't want my family to come to Taiwan and be exposed to the dangers of COVID. Because COVID forced me to be alone, my mind delivered in terms of giving me the support that I needed. I reassured my family that they need to give me a chance and see if I can make it work on my own. And that I promise that I will send them many, many, many pictures constantly, every day. Most of these pictures are selfies. The only exception is the picture of my back when I was hospitalized for a side effect that's very, very rare, and that is the loss of white blood cells. During chemo 5, about a week after chemo 5, my white blood cells dropped to barely 500 when the norm is supposed to be 4,000. And for cancer patients, if your blood cell drops below 3,500, chemo will have to stop because the body has no way of defending itself. But mine went all the way down to 500. So I was immediately admitted in the hospital, and I stayed there for 5 days getting injections to boost my bone marrow. From then on, every chemo, after I received the chemo, I must go back to the hospital 5 times, receiving injections to my stomach to boost my bone marrow, to produce white blood cells so that I can make it through chemo. Okay. When friends would come visit, I would have to host them and I will entertain. And they're always shocked. They would say, "You don't look like you have cancer. You're so energetic. You're much more energetic than we are." But once they start observing my skin, then they know that I must be feeling quite a lot of discomfort. But this discomfort, I'm able to go beyond because my mind, again, I trained to be where my body needs it most, in the present. So I breathe in, breathe out, stomach in. Okay. I did all the grocery shopping for myself because I'm told that I couldn't do takeouts. That's too dangerous for me to eat. I must cook all of my meals. I would have to go to the grocery store several times, buying all the food I need. I would go to the laundromat once a week to do all my cleaning. I cleaned my apartment every day. I cooked 3 meals a day. As you could see, my kitchen, I kept clean. Yeah. When eventually in this picture, this is post-surgery, this maybe about 30 minutes from surgery, because I trained my mind to be where my body is. Meditation is always integrated in my activities. I'm able to walk myself to go to the bathroom. It is important to go to the bathroom to get rid of some of the drugs that I received during surgery. Always, I'm breathing in, breathing out. I would take the bus. Oops. I would take the bus to go to the hospital. I preferred the bus over taxi because the taxi I found depressing. When it zipped me in, zipped me out. The bus gave me a sense of normalcy in my life. That when I'm sitting on that bus for 5 minutes, I could see the clouds, I could see the sky, I could see people on the street. This is COVID time, so not many people will be taking the bus. Sometimes there are only 3 of us, and I always sat in the back of the bus. Post-surgery, when it was time to practice climbing up the walls, making my hands go up and down the walls, I did that religiously, and I was so happy when I could lift my arm above my head. Pain was there, but I could do it. And that's when I took the picture and shared it with my family. I'm okay. I'm able slowly to get my hands up over my head. Okay. All of this I was able to do because of this training in mental discipline. In the Four Noble Truths, training in mental discipline, this training and concentration is very important. To be fully concentrated, and you begin with concentrating in your breath so that you can end up concentrating. And for me, I took it as concentrating and manifesting the all-knowing wisdom that is already in me. For me to bring out this all-knowing wisdom that is inside of me, I have to guard my sense doors. I must not give in to the sensations of pain, to the sensations of nausea, to the sensations of frustration, anger, whatever sensation. I could not give in to them, because if I gave into them, I will be doomed. And I didn't want that one. I always kept in mind to see things as they are in the absolute. They're neither real nor not real. Yes, on one level, they're real because I feel them. But on a much higher level, they are not. Because if I let go of them, not allow them to dwell in my mind, they will not be able to harm me because they will go away. So with this training in mental discipline, I have a daily routine. And some of my friends got this daily schedule and they would just say, wow, you're so busy. You're even busier than we are. Because in this daily routine will include my exercises, my cleaning, my communication with students, as if I am not sick. Because no one knew, except for my family and a few friends, that I was really sick going through chemo. In my daily routine, I made a point of smiling at everything. I live alone. Look at the sky. I'd smile at the clouds. I'd smile at the birds. I'd smile at the trees. I'd smile at the light. I'd smile at the wall. I'd smile at my shoes. Eventually, I know I was smiling with cancer. The thought came. I'm smiling at everything. Why not smile at the cancer that is inside of me? When I started smiling at the cancer that is inside of me, my relationship with cancer changed. Cancer, I cannot express it. When I started smiling at cancer, the cancer that's inside of me, cancer became my friend. Cancer, I no longer saw it as my enemy. It is my friend. It is nurturing me to bring out the best in me. Then with cancer, I understood the importance of exercise and nutrition. Daily, I would exercise, and there are 2 exercises. The links are shared at the end of these talks. I found 2 exercises that particularly connects with me because they have to do with developing self-mastery. But this self-mastery and accessing the power of the body to heal has to do with understanding the power of the breath. So these 2 exercises, I am sincere in practicing them. Swinging my arms, yeah, as simple as that. When I couldn't move, I'd be sitting down, swinging my arms. If I'm unable in doing the movements that are shown in the Shaolin video, I could still just wring my hand or shake my hands as if they have water in them, or shake my legs. And I do all these actions. I'm sitting down or I'm lying in bed. I can't be standing the way that the video shows. My feet are in trouble. My bones were too weak. I had no balance. To get from one side of the room, I have to hold them to the wall. But I still did the exercises. And when I really couldn't do them, I would just watch the video and mentally, I'm doing it with them, focusing on my breath. Mindfulness in breathing again begins my meditation. It's integrated in all of my activities. With mindfulness in breathing, it allows me to go into the practice of investigation. And that is investigating what is happening inside of me, quietly observing, impartially observing, so that I may understand where the source of fatigue or source of anger or source of sadness is coming from. And once I understand, then I can overcome it. I can rise above it. When things became really, really difficult, and they do, because this is chemo, this is cancer, then I will train I will do the training and use the loving kindness meditation. my adaptation of this meditation. For this loving kindness meditation, I focused on generosity, the manifestation of all-knowing wisdom that is in generosity. So here, I am generosity. It's not that I'm receiving generosity. I am generosity. I embody generosity. All of me is generosity. Because I am generosity, I have the generosity of understanding why I feel tired, why I'm sick, why I'm sad, why I want to scream, because I could understand them. Patience comes. Patience comes that allows me to go beyond whatever I'm feeling, because with patience, I learn to accept I'm not perfect. There are many things that are not ideal about me, but it is okay. I can overcome them. Because with this generosity, there's the manifestation of all-knowing wisdom that is in love. And love will not allow me to go into the dark side, to bring harm, because this love only inspires greatness to come out of me. So that when I don't want to eat, everything about food is nauseating. Smell of food, thought of food, hearing of food, seeing food, nauseating. I could still eat, because what I felt is gratitude for the love coming from everywhere. The love from my family, the love from my friends, the love that brings out the greatness in me that wouldn't allow me to be defeated. So it is it is in this way that the Four Noble Truths allowed me to transcend, to go beyond my suffering. And I'm most grateful for cancer for allowing me to discover a different me. So now comes surgery. This picture that you see was taken 6 hours after I was rolled towards the operating room, towards the operating ward. Before going in Taiwan, usually there's the operations are scheduled not based on time, but based on when the operation room is empty. So I had to wait for my turn. And maybe I was outside waiting for 15, 20 minutes. And during that time, I was wondering, or thoughts came that, will I survive this operation? What will happen to me after this operation? There were so many unknown questions. So there's a lot of anxiety. But again, I calmed myself with mindfulness and breathing. I will be okay, that whatever came, whatever happened after surgery, I will be okay. Because the mind, my mind is there, united with my body. And because it is united with my body, all-knowing wisdom, the enlightenment that is within me is going to arise to see me through. So I am smiling in this picture. Okay. Let me share why cancer is a blessing. Totally unexpected, unthinkable. Serious illness seen a blessing. Beyond initial reactions, benefits unfold from extreme ordeal. Life gains profound meaning, rare opportunity to know self. Inherent nature materializes, freedom from endless fears. Courage for loss of breasts. People perceive joyful appearance. Face too happy, full of life. Bald head seen a fashion statement. Inner strength living alone. No hints of having cancer. Movements alert, energetic, able to take care of all needs. Mind prompted to gain clarity, unwilling to be defeated. Numerous side effects daunting, sharpened power to triumph. Unity with all-knowing wisdom, evolving for the better. Actualizing true self, cancer indeed a blessing. So in here, diagnosed with a stage 2 breast cancer that affected both breasts. I had a double complete removal of both breasts. Yeah. So I lost my breasts, but in return, cancer gave me so much more. It gave me eyes that sees things differently, ears that hears things differently, nose that smells things differently, feeling that feels things differently. My life is so much more richer because of this cancer. No, I don't wish to endure chemotherapy. I don't wish for torture and pain, because chemo can be like that. But I am grateful that cancer came, because it took me to a higher level. So now I am very grateful that you gave me this chance to share my experiences. And my goal is to reach out to people who may be really suffering, confused, afraid. So that I can maybe bring them comfort. Should there be any questions that aren't answered, this is my email. Feel free to email me. I'll be very happy. I respond promptly. And then the other 2 exercises that I diligently practice will be the Ping Shuai and then Master Heng Yi's Shaolin morning practices. In this particular link, he talks about the importance of breathing. But from this link, you will access the other videos that he has. Now, at the moment, almost every day, I do his morning practice on day 4 because it works with all of the different parts of my body. But he's always encouraging me. I can push my body if I'm aware of my breathing, because my breath will be there to give the energy that my body needs, because my mind will support my body. Okay. So this is the extent of the presentation. And now we will go through questions.
Thank you so much for that wonderful sharing of your experience through this process. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable and sharing all that you have with us. At this time, I would like to open the chat box, or if people would like to raise their hand or just voice out if they have a question. I'm only able to see a certain amount of people on the screen, so please voice out if you have a question. In the meantime, there is a comment that just came from Chintan on the chat box, and I will read that. It says, "Thank you, Nancy, for sharing this powerful story of responding to cancer by grounding yourself in Dharma practices. May your story benefit many others. If you choose to work on a book around this presentation and would welcome support from volunteers, I would like to offer my support with research and editing.
Wow. Wow. Oh, now I'm speechless. Please, I would like that contact via email very much. I am really interested in reaching as many people as possible to show a different face to cancer. That yes, it can be terrifying, but it's also possible to go beyond it, because inside of us is knowing wisdom. The power that we need is already all within us. So thank you, please. I am interested. I am definitely interested. Thanks.
And Shintan responded, he said, thank you, Nancy, for your courage and compassion towards self and others. I will email you. Another comment that just came in from Denny and Leslie, an awesome presentation. Thank you, Nancy, for exemplifying such bravery, wisdom, and insight. You're an inspiration to us as well, since we all must eventually experience physical challenges in our life.
Thank you. Thank you.
Another comment came in from Mina. Each time I hear you, Nancy, I feel growing more in the Dharma. So grateful and so loved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from anyone that would like to pose questions? We definitely appreciate the comments. Yes, please. I don't know your name, HCT, but your audio is not coming through. I see your mouth moving. Maybe you want to write your comment or your question?
Angelica, I have a question.
Yes, Danny, please.
Yeah. Nancy, you mentioned doing metta, and I'm wondering if you had a particular metta saying that you went through, or did it change as time went by?
When I do the loving kindness meditation, it's something that I've always done in the past. Maybe compassion for me is expressed through, maybe it is generosity that allows me to be connected with people. So that even before cancer, I will do this loving kindness meditation where not only I'm visiting hospitals and prisons, but I will actually go into the hells where I will bring energy, generosity, wishing that those I encounter in hell may also find generosity. May they be generosity so that they can find a way out of the suffering that they caused for themselves. So my approach has not really changed. I'm just very lucky that I've always felt connected with the Dharma. The only approach that changed for me when cancer came is more on the mindfulness in breathing and the integration of mindfulness in breathing in everything that I did. Before, mindfulness in breathing is maybe I will go make a point of going to meditate, sit down so I can pay attention, practice focusing on my breath. But it was not integrated in my activities. When cancer came, I had no choice but to integrate it into my activities, because that was the only way that I could make it through and find the energy, so that when I'm walking to the laundromat and I have blisters, the body, it is amazing. Like my family would ask, how can you walk? And I said, I don't know. My body just knows that I will adjust my feet. I will work a certain way and that my blisters don't get in the way. But I don't know how I do that. So in a short answer, it is the way that I practice mindfulness and breathing that changed. But metta, no, because I felt I've always been guided by compassion and giving, and generosity for me is very important. I do wish to be generosity.
Thank you. You're very inspirational. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah. So again, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if anyone else had any other questions or comments they'd like to share. I see a comment just came in from Lee Rath Browning. Thank you very much for sharing your experience in overcoming suffering through the Four Noble Truths, the Dharma, mindfulness, and breathing. So extremely inspiring. And earlier we had a comment from Ing's phone. Thank you, Miss Nancy, for your sharing. You are so blessed by the Four Noble Truths. Thank you so much. And then we have a comment from the person who had audio difficulties, HCT. The comment is, Nancy, you are so strong, such a strong leader of how to survive from cancer and reborn again with it. You have empowered us to transcend our sensations. And one question just came in from Ing's. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Ing's phone. I have a question. In suffering of pain and fears, you focus on breathing. But if we lose the breathing because of pain, how can we keep breathing?
Thank you for that question. Of course, I would not know what it's like to experience if you have lung cancer and the part of the lung is taken out, which means now the power to breathe is going to be handicapped. I could only imagine what it would be like in those moments when I felt suffocating. But it is a sensation of suffocation. And again, this could be different, yeah, because I do have a full lungs. Yes, my lungs might be a little bit affected at this time, but my lungs is still pretty much intact. They're still intact. I would just breathe very slowly without forcing. Natural breathing. And the most important point that I will do at this time is not to cling to that sensation that I cannot breathe or that my lungs are damaged or deficient. I will focus on the temporality of situations. So maybe then, because the hand swinging exercise that I do, it's called Ping Shuai. It's 30 minutes. I do that exercise primarily so that I can breathe. So when I had loss of white blood cells, and I was quite in trouble, I would still do Ping Shuai, but slowly, concentrate, really focus on my lungs, supporting it, loving, nurturing my lungs. I need my lungs. So it's almost my mind. I was communicating through the organ, through the physicality of the lungs as an organ. I'm using my mind to talk to it. I need it to help me breathe, help me so that I don't suffocate from the heaviness that was on my chest. Unfortunately, I am not able to answer your question effectively, because I do not know what it is to have a damaged lung. But if I were to have a damaged lung, I will use my mind. The power I do, but it's very important to have faith. I do believe in the power of my mind, the mind that is governed by enlightenment, the mind that is called our true mind, because there's nothing that it doesn't know. There's no limitations that can block it. I believe in the power. So I'm going to use my mind to help me bring my lungs to a level where my lungs can support me. And I will continue to exercise slowly, slowly, with swinging my arms, focusing on my breath, because the lungs is gonna need to be exercised. The reason that I like the Shaolin movements with Master Heng Yi, although it is quite challenging for me, is because it really pushes me. In the beginning, I couldn't even lift my legs. Now he tells me jump, and I jump with him. He tells me sway and bend, and I'm bending with him, movements that I never thought I could do because my bones are so stiff. I'm taking a drug that attacks my bones. And I really felt the impact of not exercising when I had the Moderna injection, and I was told do not do any kind of trying exercises for the next several days. And so for maybe 5 days, I didn't do exercises. I did Ping Shui, but limited Ping Shui. But the Shaolin exercises, I avoided because it's quite challenging. And in that short period of time, I felt my bones super stiff. My knuckles were hurting. I can't bend my wrists, my fingers I could not bend. My forearms into my elbow. Now, as you can see, I can hold my telephone, I can lift it. I will open a water bottle. I cannot open the water bottle, there's no power. I will have to use my thighs, trap the water bottle, use my upper body weight to open a water bottle. But now that I'm back to exercising, doing the exercise with him, that really pushes my body to the limits, because that is the goal with exercising with him. The body can be pushed to the limit if the mind is there in the present, giving the necessary energy that the mind needs. Alert to what is happening inside the body so that I will not be harmed. Then I'm able to, in just a matter of weeks, because I just got the COVID vaccine August 11. So it's only a brief, not so long ago when I stopped exercising. And now when I came home, I become full force. I'm gonna need these exercises because I'm in trouble. I'm walking like a very old person. Everything hurts. And now I'm able to do many things. I haven't, again, just holding my cell phone doesn't, my arm doesn't hurt. And I can open things. So that's what I will do.
Ms. Nancy, sorry to interrupt, just since we have reached the closing, but we did have one last question that hopefully it's a quick response. Melissa kindly asked, are you in remission now? That would be the last question we're able to receive.
Melissa, thank you very much for that question. Yes, I'm very happy to say that my last chemo-related treatment was May 13 of this year. My last blood test was July 30. And in that blood test, it says that there's no cancer noticeable. My liver is also healing. And the great thing about that blood test results is that all of my white blood cells, my red blood cells, they're back to normal levels like a normal person. I am in remission. Thank you.
This is wonderful. And that's a beautiful note to end this Q&A on. I will make an announcement before everybody leaves, but now I would like to first say thank you to our speaker again. Thank you for all of you being here. And Venerable Miao Zhang will lead us in the dedication of merits before we close with the final announcement after that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you again, Nancy, for sharing such a, it's really hard to imagine like all the experiences you've been through, and of course that you have the courage to share with everyone, and hopefully your personal experience can really help anyone in life, like whether it is cancer or not, because sickness is actually part of our life, just like what Shakyamuni Buddha realized. This also reminds me of how Venerable Master Xing Yun, throughout his whole life, in his mind, he always reminded himself to be friend with sickness. It's easy to say, but for us to really have that insight and embrace sickness with Dharma, it is really indescribable, like beyond imagination. Yeah, thank you again for sharing all the touching moments in your journey of recovery. Okay, so I will share with everyone dedication of merit for this session. So if you can join your palms and join me with this dedication of merit. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May Chan, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our humility and gratitude give rise to great vows. So, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to thank everyone who joined us in this TBIF talk. Thank you.
Joyce, thank you. I see Joyce. Thank you.